Okay, and up to the next lighting talk, we have Lizardfs and Opennebula, a petabyte cloud the simple way. Here is Lorenzo and Simon.
Hello.
Thanks. Hello.
Hi, guys. This is probably only possible in open source community. I've known that guy for 2 years? More than 2 years.
More than 2 years.
But we only met in person yesterday. And after a few Belgian beers, we wrote that presentation.
Absolutely true.
So at the beginning, I need to tell you about Lizardfs. What is it? Just to make it sensible. It is a distributed file system. As simple as it is, we divide files into small chunks and distribute them on many different drives and nodes. And then once the client is requesting the file, he is first contacting the master server, getting the metadata from the memory, because we have centralized metadata in memory. And metadata contains also the information where particular chunks are located. Then the reads and writes are done in parallel. However, we are not talking about Lizardfs itself today. I want to talk about probably the most rewarding moment when you are leading open source project. It's when members of your community coming back to you and telling you your product is great. And all of a sudden, you are finding out that 200 other companies are using it.
And actually paying for it. You probably don't know Nodeweaver. Nodeweaver is a commercial product that uses Lizardfs at its core, and we are providing hyper-converged infrastructure in an out-of-the-box experience. And basically, what is that guy to me is, when I see that guy, I don't see a lizard, okay? But I think about Lizardfs, and I think that all of my customers data is on Lizardfs, and it saved them from losing everything many, many times because of the most incredible situations that you won't even believe what you find in the SME sector, especially in Italy. Okay, I just let you imagine. And basically, when I think...
What was it? Server locker?
Server closet. Server.
Have you heard about server closet?
It's not that we're not talking about data centers. I mean, Lizardfs is great at the data center level where you have best practice and everything, but even works in the worst server closet. And so this is a great plus. It's not something that you need 25 engineers to run. It can be run and maintained by a single person. And this is really important when you think about maintenance and profitability of an open source product. And that's it, basically. And I think of Lizardfs as a core part of my commercial product. And what's Nodeweaver basically is an hyper-converged solution that is based on Lizardfs and Opennebula. We tried OpenStack, we got OpenStack with that, and so Opennebula was the natural path to follow. And the next step was, okay, to have an hyper-converged solution, you need distributed storage. That's the core part. And so we spent a couple of years testing every single distributed file system out there and torturing it in the server closet style. The only one that survived all the tortures was Lizardfs. And so we say, this is it. We go for it.
And I've been asked so many times, when will we develop a driver for Opennebula? And I knew that it would be cool to have it, and I knew that so many people could benefit from it. But when you lead open source projects, you need to focus on keeping it going, moving it forward. Also on the financial side. We were just too busy with other stuff. We didn't have time to do it.
And time is something that we spend a lot at Nodeweaver in integrating open source projects, because we basically, this is what our product is the greatest level of integration among the open source projects we use. And we love to give back to the community, and it's not always possible because something we do is too vertical for our product. But since open source is also about communication, and we were reached by the need of the community to have the Opennebula driver to run Lizardfs, we just released the very own driver that runs on Nodeweaver to the community. So you are free to go download it and test it and deploy your Opennebula cloud to the petabyte scale just by 1, 2, 3.
So here it is, straight from Nodeweaver developers, driver for Lizardfs for Opennebula. We'll show you some screenshots as well. How does it look like?
So just don't want to waste much of your time, but just to give you an idea of what you can do with Lizardfs and Opennebula. This is the main overview of the dashboard. Actually, what you see here is Opennebula, and all the workloads that run on our infrastructures are based on Lizard. And Opennebula is a cloud orchestrator, so you run VMs. It can run services, complex services, scalable services, or having your SDN defined networking. So you have virtual routers and virtual networks that can be used in several ways with different drivers. For example, in Nodeweaver, we combine on the same node. You have the ability to use Open vSwitch, VXLANs, and the standard bridging, and you can really make what you want out of it and adapt it to the situation. Plus, since this is a product that is targeted to the server closet, you don't have a system engineer. You have the guy who fixed the computers, okay? And it does not anything about backup best practices, or does not even know what distributed file system is. And Lizardfs give us the basis and the foundation to provide an out-of-the-box experience with disaster recovery, snapshot base, and cluster replication things. So all the backup tools and disaster recovery best practice are coded in the stuff and are possible because of Lizard, basically, that handles all the failures in automatic manner, takes care of replicas, take care of, you can burn a whole server, a bunch of disks, a RAID controller, network card, no matter, it will just survive. And we just give the shiny buttons to the users in order to have the thing up and running with no maintenance. So summarizing key points is KVM-based hypervisor, Opennebula orchestrator, and Lizardfs production environment up and running in 5 minutes. Is self-managed, self-healing, self-anything, survives to any situation, and mostly this is due to Lizardfs. As software-defined networking capabilities, virtual desktop infrastructure support, and backup and DR tools out of the box. And you can just install with next go behavior up to 25 nodes, so you can easily deploy a petabyte cluster in less than half an hour, and as a stupid low price point, because we don't reinvent the wheel. We just integrate open source projects and give a user experience on top of that. And this is to say, I hate people when they say open source is just for those kind of hippies. No, you can actually make business out of open source. Leading a project and offering support and high-level services to the companies, or you can build a product on top of it. And you can make a living actually out of open source, and there is no way that is it's just a hippie thing, okay? So but you already know, but I spend most of my day in telling this the non-hippies. So.
And in all fairness, fair play to you, because from now on you can just drive your Opennebula private cloud to the petabyte and beyond, thanks to Nodeweaver. Thank you.
So, if you have any questions or just want to deploy now a cluster, then we can meet at the booth and do it on VMs.
All right, thank you.